All right, today we're going to talk about the story of OpenClaw, and this is a big one because it represents this huge leap in what AI can do. We're not just talking about an AI that can chat with you anymore. Nope. This is about an AI that can actually act. It's a story about crazy fast innovation, a really nasty hidden danger, and a peek into a future where AI agents are going to be working together in teams.
Think about it. We've all gotten pretty used to chatbots, right? You ask it something, it gives you an answer. But the real cutting edge, the thing that's going to change everything, is the move from just talking to actually doing. The big question isn't what do you know anymore. It's what can you do for me?
And this really shows you the fundamental shift we're talking about. A chatbot, well, it's a conversation partner. It gives you some info, and then, for the most part, it forgets the conversation ever happened. But an AI agent? That's a whole different beast. It's an operator. It lives on your actual machine, it remembers everything you've talked about, and, this is the key, it proactively gets things done.
Which of course brings us to OpenClaw. This project is the perfect example of that big shift. It was built from the very beginning to be an agent, a persistent assistant that you host yourself, that hooks into your apps, and then actually carries out tasks in the real world.
You know, when OpenClaw was launched, it wasn't just another piece of software hitting the internet. No way. It really felt like the start of a revolution, an agentic revolution, and its growth was just explosive.
So, you might be wondering, what made OpenClaw so powerful, so fast? Well, the answer is something called agent skills. The best way to think about them is like apps for your AI. So instead of just being a jack of all trades, the agent can load a specific skill, and boom, it's an expert at analyzing data or reviewing code or managing your calendar. It makes the AI incredibly versatile.
And wow, did developers notice? The project just skyrocketed to over 176,000 stars on GitHub. I mean, to put that into perspective, that is a level of hype and adoption that most projects can only dream of. It was a massive signal that, yeah, the world was ready for an AI that could actually do things.
And the sheer chaos of that growth is kind of perfectly captured in its naming history. Get this, the project burned through 3 names in just a couple of months. It started as Clawdbot. Then it got a trademark request, so it became Moltbot for all of 3 days, and then finally it settled on OpenClaw. It was an absolute whirlwind, but the momentum just never slowed down.
So what was the secret sauce? What made it so popular? Well, it was a few key things. You had full control of your data because you ran it yourself. It had a persistent memory, so it actually learned from your interactions over time. It hooked into the apps we all use every day, like WhatsApp and Telegram, but the big one, the real game changer, was its ability to run commands and access files right there on your local machine. That's what really separates an agent from a simple chatbot.
But with all of this incredible power and this amazing open ecosystem, a new kind of risk started to creep in. The very thing that made OpenClaw so flexible and so powerful, its library of community-built skills, well, that also turned out to be its greatest weakness.
See, to make all those awesome agent skills easy to find and install, the community built something called ClawHub. It was basically an app store for your AI. If you needed a skill to summarize a YouTube video or track your crypto portfolio, you could just go to the hub and grab it. It was a brilliant idea, and it made development move even faster.
And then the other shoe dropped. Security researchers decided to take a closer look at this booming ecosystem, and what they found was, well, deeply alarming. As eSecurity Planet put it, this trusted marketplace was actually hiding a massive coordinated attack. The scale of it was just shocking. They found 341 malicious skills in total. And what's really wild is that 335 of them were all part of one single, highly coordinated attack that researchers named ClawHavoc. This wasn't just some random hacker, this was a targeted supply chain attack. So instead of going after users one by one, the attackers poisoned the well. They infected the very tools that the entire community was building and sharing. And the attack itself was just deceptively simple. You, the user, would install a skill that sounded really useful. Then the instructions would say, oh, hey, you just need to run this little prerequisite command to get everything set up. But that command, that was the Trojan horse. It would download malware like the Atomic macOS Stealer, which would then just scrape your computer for everything. Passwords, crypto wallets, secret API keys, you name it.
This whole incident forced a real moment of reckoning for everyone involved. It brought up a critical question. What is the actual price we pay for giving an AI this much power and this much access? And the answer, it turns out, is baked right into OpenClaw's design.
Security experts call this a lethal trifecta. First, the AI agent has access to all your private data. Second, it's constantly exposed to untrusted stuff from the internet, or in this case, malicious skills. And third, it has the power to execute commands and talk to the outside world. You put those three things together, and you've just created a brand new, incredibly potent way for attackers to get in. It's an old security problem, managing permissions and untrusted input, but it's supercharged by the autonomy we're giving these new AI agents.
And what made the whole situation even scarier were OpenClaw's own best features. As Palo Alto Networks pointed out, because the agent has a persistent memory, attacks didn't have to happen right away. A piece of malware could be planted and just sit there, dormant, waiting for the perfect moment to go off. It's like a logic bomb hidden inside the AI's own brain.
So, the story of OpenClaw really is a critical cautionary tale. But it's definitely not the end of the story. The push toward more and more capable AI agents is only getting faster, and it's pushing us toward an even more complex future.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about one open source project. Not at all. Every single company out there building AI agents is wrestling with this exact same problem. How do you unlock all these incredible new abilities without also unlocking catastrophic new risks?
And that next frontier? It's already moving past single agents. The next evolution is multi-agent systems. We're talking about entire teams of specialized AIs, each with a different job, all working together to achieve really complex goals.
And if you want to see what this actually looks like, one developer built a system called Mission Control. It used 10 different OpenClaw agents that acted like a content marketing team. You had a lead agent, an engineer agent, a project manager, all of them communicating through a shared database, assigning each other tasks, and running completely on their own 24/7. I mean, the power there is immense, but you can just imagine how the complexity and the security risks multiply right along with it.
Which leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? We are building these unbelievably powerful, autonomous systems at a truly breathtaking speed. The innovation is amazing. But as we saw with the ClawHavoc attack, security can feel like an afterthought. So as we all race toward this future of AI agents, we have to stop and ask, can our ability to secure them possibly keep up with our ambition to build them?